Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ridwan Minuddin, metric number 1190168. Okay, today I will be present about intercultural communication in Thailand, that is nonverbal communication for subject ACM2053, intercultural communication. Okay, first thing first, I will explain about what is nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication involves all those nonverbal stimuli in a communication setting that are generated by both the sources and his or her use of the environment, and that have potential message value for the source and or receiver. Okay, next, nonverbal communication in Thailand. Okay, nonverbal communication in Thailand is often more important than verbal communication. There are so many nonverbal communication that they use in order to express their feeling directly. Okay. In addition, it is difficult for most Thais to say no, so they will instead express their feeling through nonverbal communication such as body language, gestures, and facial expression. The first example for nonverbal communication is physical contact. Physical contact in Thailand is acceptable amongst people of the same gender, but is usually minimal. Public displays of affection between couples, such as holding hands or kissing, are generally not shown. Buddhist monks are not supposed to make any physical contact with women. Okay. The second is personal space. The general distance between two people conversing is an arm's length. When in conversation with a friend or close acquaintance, this distance is shorter. Okay, the third one is just gestures. Thai people generally do not use their hands or emphasize their point in conversation. Overly dramatic gesture or frequent and rapid gesture may be misinterpreted as anger in Thailand. Pointing with a single finger is considered to be rude and accusatory. So here are gestures that can easily be recognized when you are in Thailand. Okay, the first is the Thai greeting and the smile. Okay, the Thai greeting is the Thai tradition greeting gesture of Thai people is known as Wai, a way of greeting in Thai society, and one of the most common Thailand hand gestures. It is normally used when greeting one another to say goodbye or show respect, gratitude, or apologize. Okay. The gesture of Wai is involve a pair of hands. The hands are placed together in prayer and raised upward towards the face, while the head lowers in a slight bow and the eyes are lowered. The Thai people say Iswadi while doing this gesture. Okay. The head of the heads is typically different according to the perceived status or respect of the person you are greeting. For example, monks, superiors, and the elderly are greeted with hands raised to the bridge of the nose, while younger people and subordinates may only receive a slight nod. If you greet someone who's younger, you should wait for another party to Wai you first. Mostly, younger people greet elder people with Wai in order to show respect, based on Soliman in 2012. Okay, next. For example, students should Wai their teacher after class before she go back home. Okay. To not return the Wai is considered very impolite. Only monks and the king do not have to return Wai. Okay. Smile. Okay. And Thailand is famous as the land of smile because smiling is all over to Thai culture, and they tend to smile often in conversation. Throughout the time, it can indicate happiness, and sometimes smiling used an attempt to cover awkwardness and sadness. Thais can smile in everything, even though they are in the serious situation. Consequently, this can create negative impacts to Thai people when they do business with the foreigners who do not understand Thai culture. According to some sources, there are 13 different words in Thai for smile, each attached to different situations ranging for teasing, admiration, disagreement, or politeness. In general, it always considered polite to return a Thai smile, as it typically quite genuine. Okay, the fourth is eye contact. Eye contact shows attentiveness to the person talking. However, direct eye contact should be diverted every now and again to soften the interaction. Intense eye contact can be viewed as a challenge to the other person. When being instructed or spoken to by a superior, it is respectful to lower one's eye. The fifth is head and bowing. An important way Thai show respect is through lowering their head. Looming above someone in Thailand can be considered an aggressive form of assertion. It is especially disrespectful to position one's head higher than the Buddha. If someone needs to intercept another guest to reach a destination, for example, at a performance, they will typically walk with their head bowed and their body below the eye line of the other. Okay, the sixth is nodding. There are two types of nodding in Thailand. Non-verbal communication. Okay, the one is not head once, and the second is not head a few times. Okay, what is not head once? This is a way to show that you are recognized or acknowledge greeting from another party. Sometimes when people greet you by why or by saying Sawadee, you may not be able to greet them back, so you nod your head once as a sign that you acknowledge that greeting. Okay, it is not considered rude to simply nod your head once as a way to show that you acknowledge the greeting. Okay, the second nod head a few times. Nod head a few times. This is Thai body gesture, means yes or agree. This is considered somewhat polite body language in Thailand for showing agreement. Thai people often nod to acknowledge what is said. However, this does not always mean they are agree or understand. It is primarily a gesture made out of politeness. Okay, the seventh is beckoning. The common way to beckon someone is by gesturing with all fingers facing downwards and towards oneself. The same gesture that would represent shooing in Australia, gesturing with finger facing upward has offensive connotation in Thailand. Okay, the eighth is head. Thai people believe that the head is the most sacred part on the human body, and like many cultures of Southeast Asia, it is forbidden to touch someone on the head. For Thais, this is particularly true for children. A child's quan or individual spirit is not strong enough to be touched, and some of them believe that the child could become ill or experience nightmare if this taboo is broken. Quan is abstract noun meaning spiritual power which comes with human from their birth. It is believed that people with their noun will have both mental and physical happiness. On the other hand, if they lose their quan, they will be unhappy. Okay. Because of this respect for the quan, it is also considered rude to stand over someone older and therefore wiser than yourself. While a person may be physically taller and naturally have their head over another, Thais will lower their head when passing or interacting with those older or superior to themselves. Okay. The last one is feet. Thais consider feet to be the lowest of features part of the body, so it should not be used to point a thing or move subject. The soles of one's feet also should not be pointed at the others. It will consider rude to put your feet up on the table or another surface, and like many Asian cultures, it is nearly universally required to take your shoes off before entering a home, business, or even the local store. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you for your listening. I hope you understand well.
Goodbye and Assalamualaikum.